all Benin are witches.
Why did you consider to be partner to this project?
Nigeria is like a state in Africa instead of a country in Africa. So I think the tourism and culture part would make people see that Africa is broad, Africa is big, Africa is so wide that they have different countries in Africa, and each of these countries have different states, different language, different culture attached to them.
The young guy who came to Nigeria by the name of Mongo Pase, he discovered River Niger. He actually should make somebody to laugh.
30 December is a period where the Hebrodians, I call them the Hebrodians, that's the returnees. I book their flights, I arrange their accommodation, I create an itinerary for them to do when they are in Nigeria that enables them to My name is Adagbonyin Efeosa. So my mom is Yoruba, my dad is Benin. So I am but both are Nigerians. And I finished from Obafemi University, Ile-Ife, Osun State. I studied education management, political science. So yeah, there's a balance. I like kids. I have always worked with kids, but recently I've also always sold thrift. Yeah, I like thrift, selling thrift, and I like kids, and I like food, so I sell food. Yeah, so recently I started IJGB Niger. IJGB Niger. It simply means I just got back Niger, and that is for the people in the diasporans or the expatriates that wants to come into the country to learn about the culture, have fun, and see what Nigeria actually look like. Because I feel, the brain behind the business was, I saw how people pay exorbitantly to come to Nigeria and not really see the country. They only have fun and do their mapiano, but they don't get to see what they're supposed to see, the culture, the people, the language. What makes Nigeria, beyond what the media keep feeding us about what Nigeria is. So yeah, that was the brain behind IJGB Niger, and so far we started December 2024, and so far we've done really well. I would say my cause to the community is making sure people are recognized with their roots. I don't know if I am supposed to be a finder of whatever, but I like when people know where they are coming from, where they are going to, how to get there. Basically, just help them navigate life. Yeah, I am also a brand strategist, and I won't say content creator, but I do more of writing and designing than content creating. So yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
All right, that's lovely. Efeosa. That is a beautiful name because it's coming from our state, no? I'm from south of Nigeria, and your father is from Edo State, right?
It's from Benin specifically.
Your father is from Benin specifically. Okay, all right. That is the state where we are coming from. Now, Efeosa, what does that mean? Could you say something about that?
God wealth.
All right. That is a very popular name among Benin people. And also among Eastern people, because Eastern now and Benin, just an extension of the same, no? That is really beautiful. All right. Tell me, could you let us know when you were growing up? Did you grow up in Benin or?
I grew up in Lagos State. I grew up in Lagos all my life. I only went to Benin last year, December, when I lost my dad and my grandpa. That was the first time I was going to Benin.
Sorry about that.
I'll be there after that because I find that we've been far away from home, so I guess it's time to start looking at what the home actually looks like.
And what does that home look like for you?
I think from the narrative of what I've always heard about the Benins is that me, for example, when they say, "Are you Benin?" I say yes, and they're like, "Oh, no wonder you are stubborn." Or they say, "Are you Benin?" I say yes, and they'll be like, "All Benin are witches." Or they say, "Are you Benin?" And I'm like, "Yes." They say we don't know how to pronounce some words in English. So when I went, I realized that the people were more accommodating than what I was expecting. Yeah, they were more accommodating. I also like the fact that I think to an extent, Benin plays a very large value on their kids. They might joke with their wives, but their kids are like paramount. They love their kids. They look out for them. They are not allowed to just like go. We don't know you. I'm not saying it's not like that in the other culture. I'm just saying it's something. Looking at the kind of narrative out there about being irresponsible, um, doing prostitution, this and that. It was like a different ball game entirely. I felt loved. Yeah, I felt loved. I felt heard. I felt listened to, and to a very large extent, I think the people were they love God. Any small thing, they love God, even though they love Ogun. They love Ogun as I don't know which one they love more. They love Ogun as much as they love God. But yeah, it was a very good experience.
All right,
And I always
we're not going deep in that because that will really take us to a rabbit hole. Ogun
mm-hmm.
and God, they probably might mean the same thing, just like we are looking at it from
From
different
different
perspective, no?
perspectives. Yeah.
All right, that is fair. That is fair enough. Now, tell me, how did you start this IGB Niger? Tell me a bit about that. What is the background story of it?
So in December, I was just in Ife. In November, I was in Ife, and I was on a Facebook group where people would comment they want to come to Nigeria, this and that. I mean, I've always been inside. I don't really go out. And I thought, what are they even doing in this dirty December? Let me go and see. So I left the house. I came to Lagos. I met with a few of my friends that came in from the States. And at that point, I was saddled with the responsibility of, oh, Jasmine, where are we going to? Oh, Jasmine, what do we do? Oh, Jasmine, how do we pay? But what stood out for me was the fact that everything was very, very pricey. It was so pricey. The accommodation was not what it was supposed to give in terms of value. The flights, people had complained about what their flights look like, the food. I also realized that most things that they did in December was to go to the club. We go to the club all night. We come back in the morning, we rest, and then we go out during the day to like the new face of Lagos. Everything was just happening in Lagos. And I'm thinking there's a lot more to see. So one thing I did was I had to look for a Nigerian wedding for my friends to attend. We attended a beach wedding in Lagos. It was a cross-cultural wedding, but the groom was Yoruba. And I realized that they liked it. We also went to Fela's shrine. We did some few stuff, and it gave them something to go back home with. Actually, one of the people that came in December is currently around now. She's currently around now and she has been having fun. But back to the story, when I got back to Ife and I thought about it, I'm like, we could get these deals cheaper. We could make arrangement for apartments. We could make sure people don't just see Lagos, they see Nigeria. There are like 36 other states apart from Abuja. We have 36 states aside Abuja. Abuja is the federal capital. So yeah, there are 36 states, and each state has things that are unique to it. We have Idore Hills, we have the Enugu Ahum waterfall. We have the Calabar Carnival that happen every December. We have like a whole lot of things here in this country that people don't really pay attention to. Majorly, I mean, the excuse that most of them give is insecurity. Oh, I heard Nigeria is unsafe. I don't want to go anywhere that is not Lagos. And can you please keep it strictly Lagos? And it's not that deep. I don't think the insecurity is that deep that would not allow you explore other states. I've been to about 30 states in Nigeria. Yeah, I've been to 30, except the core north, and I actually have a very good time. So Adejibi Nigeria was just to sit down and make sure that when guests come into Nigeria, they don't just do nightlife. You don't just buy bottles. You don't just go to club. You don't just dance away. You get to see what Nigeria is really like. You go to Benin. You can go to Enugu. You can go to Calabar. You can go to any state. You understand their culture, their people, how things are done, the food that is common to that particular tribe or language. you get to ask questions, not just on the surface, but deep. So yeah, that was the brain behind IJGB Nigeria. And with that, I had to go to my drawing board. We met with some partners. We are connecting partnership with Delta Airlines and some other Airbnb shorted apartments in Lagos, Calabar Festival, Jazz the Obudukatu Ranch, and some few other Soundwave, Obi's House. I mean, you can actually have nightlife and also have the cultural part of Nigeria where you come. So that's what IDGP Nigeria is about, in long story short.
And that is really lovely. That opened up a lot of conversation, a lot of angle to the conversation that we can actually talk about today. And of course, we cannot also ignore that we started to have this conversation because of our contact to you to partner with us in the project that we are currently working on, which is with Diaspora project. Because I believe that some people might already have heard of it, where we are entirely focusing on tourism, connecting people of African descent to their root, but also people that might not necessarily be African, who maybe want to experience the African culture, African way of life, but instead of the typical Euro-Western standard of going to see Africa, our intention is going to feel Africa, going to be part of it, be immersed in the culture of the people, so that you don't just read about it, you don't just sit there and observing, you'll be part of it. That is really important for us. That is what separate what we are offering as tourism packages and what some other persons might be offering out there. Now, let me ask you a few questions here, or maybe one, then we'll move back to what we were discussing, because I have a couple of questions. And now, being a partner with Diaspora, I want to believe that you have had the chance to be able to know one or two things here. Could you let me know which part of the project interests you more? Why are you considering, why did you consider to be partner to this project? Let's understand that.
Well, I think it's the tourism. It's not even I think, it's the tourism and culture part, because again, like I said, people are not really seeing the country for what it is. They just come and see the basic. Everything they are doing is either in Lagos or in Abuja, and there are lots of other things that you could do in Nigeria. There's a whole lot of culture. The Yoruba has theirs, the Benin has theirs, the Igbo has theirs, they also have theirs. I think they say we have about 540 languages, and the only one people know is Pidgin, because officially we speak English. So whatever other language they know is Pidgin. And when they begin to hear Yoruba, they're like, oh, what language is that? But if you have been to a Yoruba land and you hear them speak, even though you can't speak, you get to pick the language when somebody else says something in that dialect. I think I've heard this before. Also, I also think people confuse Africa. I think Africa is a country. So when you're like, I'm from Nigeria, they say Nigeria is like a state in Africa instead of a country in Africa. So I think the tourism and culture part would make people see that Africa is broad, Africa is big, Africa is so wide that there are different countries in Africa, and each of these countries have different states, different language, different culture attached to them. I've been to Benin, I've been to Ghana. In fact, I love the Ghana a lot. I love Ghanaians a lot. I love Ghanaians a lot. I love their culture. But the Western world don't see it like that. They think Ghana is at the back of my house, or maybe my next neighbor is Ghanaian. But the tourism and culture part would open their eyes to see that there is more to Africa than what they think Africa is. Yeah, it would bring them closer. It would make them feel what it is like to belong to either the East Africa, West Africa, the North Africa. Like they get to see each of these space, and they get to understand what that particular region or section is about. So I think that's the major thing for about with diasporans that I like. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. And now, because you have gone to Benin, of course, this is the last question I will ask you, that then we'll just move to some other thing that you have made mention of. We
Okay.
have different packages here in with diaspora. And like you can see, of course, we got more than 30 of them, and they're just growing because we have more people coming up to become partner in the project. This particular one, for example, is the Igwe Festival in Benin, Nigeria, which is also where you are from. Now, this is actually one of the packages that we have developed about the package, about the tourism, about Diaspora Memorial and Tourism Exchange. Now, there is something really peculiar to this festival or this type of package that we design. We want people to really not just come, like I said before, come and see what is happening. We want them to be able to participate because there is a lot of rituals going on there. There is a lot of interaction going on there in the Igwe Festival, for example, which is a festival of Thanksgiving and all of that. But Nigeria is really full of different events, cultural events that are really of extreme importance to the people of African descent. It is true that the Nigerian government haven't made a lot investment on the Nigerian tourism, but it's really a significant part of not just the African diaspora, but the rest of the world. I sort of tend to tell people that Nigeria is an important country in the world, not just because I am from Nigeria. How you know this is, you see, it become one of the most populated countries in the world, not by accident. It's natural. Because there are two parts of Africa that are really of significant. I'm not saying the other part are not significant, but there are just natural phenomena that make it this way. That for all the history that we know, they have remained very attractive to human settlement. They are the Niger Delta, which you have in Nigeria, because of the river. Then there is the Nile Delta, which is also tied to the river. These two deltas in Africa, since the ancient time, have always accumulated a lot of people because human beings tend to move along the water. Because until recently, we didn't know how to play with the ocean because that was too big a water. But at least we know how to play with the easier one. So which means that people tend to move towards the water. So we'll be migrating for a lot of thousands of years. So that when the other day, the young guy who came to Nigeria by the name of Mongo Passe, he discovered River Niger. He actually should make somebody to laugh. How can you discover River Niger? People have been migrating. People have been living here for several thousands of years. There was nobody in Europe. So they are coming to discover River Niger. Something must be wrong with you. So I'm saying that to me, that there is a lot to explore in Nigeria in terms of tourism. It's a huge market. But of course, we also had the problem of security, like you said. But that notwithstanding, this is a huge industry that is not even tapped into at all. So tell me, when somebody is coming to Nigeria, okay, I see you are still growing in the industry because you say you started in 2024, right? So you still have a lot to embrace in it. But tell me, I want you to sell Nigeria for me in terms of a tourism or a tourist destination. Please go ahead and do that.
So first thing first, Nigeria has a whole lot of festival, like you mentioned. But beyond the festival, there is also the food because festival is like a period of celebration. There is food. There is if you are on the gram, I'm sure you've heard Amapiano, you've seen Howambe, you wondered what their traditional wear is like. And then when you come to the country, those are the things that you should look out for because those are the things that you saw on the ground that wants you to come to Nigeria to begin with. So as well as there is festival, in fact, there's festival every time of the year. Every single month of the year has one festival or the other. But beyond the festival, you also get to see what it is like for the Benin to look, why the Benin had the way they look like, why do they dress, why are they all adorned in coral beads, why do the Igbos wear this, why had the Yoruba always tying gele, we don't just make sure you experience the festival like you've mentioned. We make sure you are also part of those festivals. We make sure you are part of the people. We blend you in with the locals. So you get to dress like to understand the reason behind the food. For example, the New Yam Festival, you would wonder why anyone do want to celebrate yam. I mean, it is just yam. It's a food. But it's culture. It holds a significance to Nigerians. And when you see them on the social media saying, "Oh, we are doing New Year festival and somebody is carrying this. You can see the yam." Or maybe let's go for the organ music. You wonder why they have to carry two iron to start. Why? Why can't you just beat drum? Why you not just playing guitar? There's a sound that those irons give to the soul. That is why Nigeria is Nigeria. There is a reason why people just wake up. I mean, our fathers wake up and say, "This iron sounds so melodious to the soul." And over the years, it has come to stay. So at Higher DB Nigeria, even though we are still very much new, we ensure that we know people that knows the culture. And I as a person also know a lot about these cultures, and I am more than willing to make sure others don't just come from a piano. I mean, I know we have Burna Boy, we have Thames, we have Arasta, we have Davido, we have Wizkid, but we also have the bata, we have the Ogene music, we have the drums, we have the village dancers, the masquerade that dance to the beat of the soil. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. Yeah, and I think you should come to experience it. Yeah, just come experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is the invitation to the audience. Those of you that are listening, we are inviting you to come and enjoy the Nigerian vibes. It's full of
Yeah,
energy. I
real
remember
Nigeria.
couple of
Energetic Nigeria.
couple of years ago, I wrote in one of my books. I was talking of dance. I was saying, look at how we dance. It's so mysterious sometimes that when somebody is born, you dance. When somebody is married, you dance. When somebody is having a promotion, you dance. When somebody die, you
Mhm.
also dance. So dance is just part of our life, no? So that if you compare that to the Euro-Western culture, sometimes it doesn't make that much sense. But you need to understand how the people's culture are set up, no? Then you can see that it make a lot of sense to them because that is a bit about that is philosophy. That is a bit about it that is psychology. Now, just to give you an instance, I was interviewing, okay, in one of our storytelling series, because on LinkedIn we have weekly storytelling series from business storytelling to African diaspora storytelling to tourism storytelling to agribusiness storytelling. So every week we are always live engaging with different people within the African community. So there was this a friend of mine is she help people that have lost their husband, the widow, to sort of recover and regenerate themselves and start over again. This is the UK. So talking of bereavement, and she was saying something to the effect that in of course what she see in the UK, of course based on the Euro-Western society, you seem to carry the burden alone when you lose somebody, when you lose a husband, something like that, no? And you are not supposed to be crying like that, no, because you need to be strong. That is what is sort of what is the message is. Whereas in Africa, you are not supposed to carry everything yourself. You can throw the burden on the society. You can even roll on the ground if you want to. So that if you watch Nollywood movie now, you see this extra cry that people have, though, where somebody is like, "Well, how?" You see people just rolling on the ground because somebody have died or something have happened. In the sense that we are very, very expressive. We don't keep it
Yeah.
inside. We throw it outside. And now, when you look at that from the point of view of psychology, you come to see that it means that if we were to abide by that type of culture, by that type of experience, we will have less of mental health problem because we don't carry
Yeah.
it in our head. We carry it in the outside. Therefore, we can leave the
Mhm.
problem there and go home in peace. But this is so
Yeah.
different from when you carry the problem inside and you go outside to pretend, you wear the mask. But when you go inside
Mhm.
now, the problem is there for you alone to carry. And because human beings are very limited, it get to a point you will boss. You will say, that problem, you start seeing things that are not supposed to be. And that become a very big challenge. So I'm only saying that to say that even that culture that sometimes we think we don't understand, we see you were saying, why are people carrying iron? Why are people doing it? Why are people doing it? It has been studied to be the best way to live, in the sense that there are sense that we need to understand it in nonsense. Because when we don't understand it, we think it doesn't make sense, but it makes a lot of sense. All right. Um, You were talking of also, I think, Lagos, the dirty December in Lagos. I don't know if you want to talk more about that. Somebody probably hearing that for the first time. What can they expect?
Dirty December is a period where the Herbrodians, I call them the Herbrodians, that's the returnees,
Yeah,
come back into
okay.
the.
I wanted to ask, what does that mean?
I call them the Herbrodians because they are abroad, so they are Herbrodians. The returnees come back into the country to have fun, reunite with family, meet family members. I mean, they worked all year round, and December is just a time for them to unwind. And we also have people who are not Nigeria, but they've heard about Nigeria. Most people go to Ghana. I'm sure a lot of people know about the Afrofuture Festival in Ghana, and it also it's something that is happens in the US. So it's I think it's a branch that happens in Ghana. We also have the Obi's house in Ghana, and then we have in Nigeria. I think they also have in the US too. And some of these returnees or foreigners come into the country to have fun because it's that last month of the year, and there are lots of people in the country to actually have fun. So, Dirty December is basically a lifestyle. It's a party time. It's a period where you have no reason to work. Just come and unwind and enjoy. That's the concept behind Dirty December, basically. But a lot of people are stuck in Lagos and they have to buy bottles on bottles on bottles instead of going home to see what is happening in their village at that particular point in time. I mean, December is Calabar Festival from the 1st to 31st. And then if you check, Calabar Festival is UNICEF recognized. It's something that promotes the Calabar people culture over the years. Over the years. Why are you not in Calabar Festival? Why don't you just go there for 2 days? Why are you? I mean, I'm not saying club is bad because we all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, but we can there can be a
Do we have
balance.
a version of that to talk about the guests? Make Mary a dog. I'm joking. I'm just.
There should be a balance where you go to a Nigerian wedding and then you go to the club at night, where you get to join the masquerades to dance during the day, and you go and dance at Burna Boy's show in the night, where you get to see the king in your village and understand what each um monuments or place symbolize, and you still get to come in the night and start reading about terms and Arasta, a balance. I think Nigeria just create a balance between culture and fun, and we'll make sure you have both, of
All right.
course.
In this period, that is something that I don't think we are talking about a lot. It sort of go well with diaspora, the project that we are working on, because we sort of tend to promote the idea, the spirit of collaboration among us. Um, I really believe that the only solution that we have as a people is to work together among ourselves if we are going to be able to overcome our challenges. Because our challenges are big, are really big. But if we work together, we can overcome anything at all. But if we don't, if we are working alone, we will never be able to overcome it because the challenges I want to repeat again are big. So one of the way to get this started is by networking. And now, as we are talking of the dirty December now, as people are coming in from different parts of the world, particularly from the US and Europe also, mostly from the US and Canada, I think, because that is what I am seeing in the news. It becomes also
US
a moment of connecting.
and
Like, oh, which state of the
yeah,
US are you? You okay? You are in Canada. Okay, you are in London. As you talk, as you dance, of course, you eat, you enjoy, but you also build a bond. So that by the time you return to base, you now have this interconnected web where you can build up network, you can build projects together, support each other. Can you say something about that? Can that be relevant in a situation like this?
it is because a lot of people, when IDGB Nigeria started, it was majorly with the people I met in December. It was just an idea. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think much of it, but someone just said, "Oh, you're so good at organizing, and why don't you just make this into something that you can hand from. And it stuck with me. Now, I wouldn't have that connection if I was in my house or by myself or just in the club alone. Now, aside that, when we got to the registration stage and we were having some issues, somebody that I also met in December, never met them before, also stepped in to help. Again, that's the power of connection. And funny enough, they're not even in Nigeria. They are not even Nigeria. Like, they are not from Nigeria. They are not living in Nigeria. We just met during Dirty December. I have a tribe of 5 ladies that we met during Dirty December, and we have a WhatsApp group where we just randomly talk. We also have a group, a WhatsApp community where we have about 200 members that we just met during Dirty December across the world. As a matter of fact, majorly they are from the US, UK, a few from Canada, and then a few from Europe. But we somehow come together to have this conversation. Oh, what are you doing? What project are you working on? We have a project that one of us is currently working on with is more like a 3 days festival thing that she's trying to organize in Nigeria, where people come in from different parts of the world to just enjoy for that 3 days and see what Nigeria is actually like. It's a 3 day program. And all of this idea stems from the connection that we made in December. She's not even in Nigeria, she's in the US, but she is in Nigeria. And she is a Nigerian. And like I said, that is one of the things that 30 December tends to give you. You connect with people, you collaborate, you share ideas, you have like a whole backbone structure. The people I know now, if somebody had told me as at November that I would have met and knew them, I would have wondered where and how and why. Because again, I don't go out, but I've come to have a kind of family from there. My first identity with the clients was also from there. I mean, as soon as the business started, she said, "Oh, Jasmine, I am traveling. I wanted to book me a flight to." Now she could have done it herself because she was traveling from the US to the UK. So I think it's something she could have done by herself. But she wanted me to be involved, and then she left the UK back to Nigeria, and she still reached out to me. Again, it was just from connecting. So yeah, it's one of those things that we get to see.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And that is really very important because we need each other. Nobody is strong enough to be able to be all. If you are just a tree, you cannot be a forest. It's not possible. That is the adage in Africa, no, that a tree cannot make a forest. For you to be a forest, you need other trees so that you can all be respiring together, no, enjoying the environment together. Then you can you can be called a forest. Now, tell us a bit about, as we are moving towards the end of the conversation, how does your service work with people? Those who are just hearing about you for the first time, we said already that we are partnering with you in packages in Nigeria. So what type of services are these? What do you do for people?
Also, I book their flights, I arrange their accommodation, I create an itinerary for them to do when they are in Nigeria that enables them to blend fun, culture, people, and language. I make sure those three. Of course, culture is a people way of life, and then the home is where the heart is. So I make sure that we create a itinerary that ensures every single part of what you should enjoy in Nigeria is covered. We also do your logistics, security. You don't even have to worry about anything. All you just need to do is pack your bag and come down to the country to see what it's actually like. So a part of our job is the cultural immersion. We have, like I said, I'm a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and if you should Google that, you would realize that Ile-Ife as a whole is where the Yoruba believe that their origin is from, and it's a place of culture. So we make sure if you're a student and you want to experience maybe what the you want to learn what the Nigerian IDP Niger creates a kind of package for guests that makes sure that we handle their flights, their accommodation, their feeding, their itinerary while they're in Nigeria. The itinerary includes both fun and culture. We balance both. Every single thing you need to know Of course, you can't come to Nigeria in 1 week and expect to know about the whole 36 states. But we ensure that even if you are staying for just 3 days, you get to understand at least a particular culture that would give you the knowledge of what Nigeria is about when it relates to that particular people. We make sure that you are well secured, because one of the issues that people have is, oh, is Nigeria secured? Oh, I don't want them to kidnap me. Don't worry, nobody will kidnap you. That is why IDDB Nigeria is there to ensure that every single thing is in place when you arrive the country, and you don't have to worry about anything. And because of our partnership with some of like, for example, like I mentioned, the flights, you're flying through KLM, Air Peace, and um, Air France, sorry, KLM, Delta Airline, and Air France, you get to enjoy a particular discount on your flight via IDDB Nigeria. Same thing with water. We ensure that your water are well sterilized, and you don't even have to pay for it because our partners donate to that. So that's what IDDB Nigeria does. Basically, just ensure that your trip goes very stress-free. Just pack your bag and come. Then for the students, if you want to go to, say, OAU, like I mentioned, I'm an OAU alumni. And if you know OAU, you know that Ife is the Yoruba people heritage. So we engage in cultural exchange program where you come, stay for like 3 months, 4 months, and understand what the socio-economic, cultural parts of Nigeria, what it looks like. Yeah, we also engage in that as well.
Yeah, we appreciate you for that. With me now that you are really into a different aspect of the tourism experience that people want to get involved in. Because we are talking of not just coming on the window and say, okay, yes, I have been there. I see them. No, we are saying come and be part of them. Because when we are
Yeah.
talking of the African diaspora, the other day I was talking to one of my partner. Our partner is in Tanzania. Okay, like you. They have prepared packages for people that will be coming in, because this is actually what we do these days, because we are not thinking of talking about tourism by just say them. No, we are saying us. We are evolving it so that for the way the diaspora tourism packages are set up or Imagine is like this. We don't want maybe a group of 10 or 20 people book a package from US now. Then I will pick a flight ticket. I will say, okay, where do you want to go? Oh, they are going to Tanzania. Then I will say, okay, I will follow you there to explain to you what is Tanzania. We don't want to work like that, because I'm not from Tanzania. There is somebody who knows Tanzania better than me. That person is in Tanzania. So we want to work with a local Tanzania. The other day, I was interviewing some of our partners there who are Maasai people. So if you want to learn about Maasai, you go to the Maasai. They are our partner. You are interested, we'll just package it up. They wait for you at the airport. They explain to you in their language so that you understand. We have crossed that stage of an expert in the university telling you about a culture you have never experienced because you read it in the book. What we are saying is that there are the local people. If you want to learn about Igwe Festival in Benin, the Festival of Thanksgiving, you don't need to learn it in Harvard. You need to come to Benin, talk to the local people,
come to the local Benin,
then you will know it. So all this is actually the approach that we are taking with diaspora tourism exchange, because we want people to be involved. And we want to also use it as a way of helping the local people to make money, because we are promoting a sustainable economy where you don't need to depend on me, but we work together. You earn from me, I earn from me, and it goes around and it turns around. It's possible for us. All right, so I cannot thank you enough for what you're doing, because this is actually what we represent, promoting our culture, promoting what we are proud of as a people. So when we can share it with people, we share it with passion, because it's about us. So thank you so much for that. And for us, or for you too, the guests that have listened, the viewer that have listened to this point in the conversation, we say we also appreciate your time. If this is your first time here listening to Obehi Podcast, I encourage you to subscribe and comment. Share also with other people. You can see the great value that we're talking about here. Maybe you are living in the US. Okay, we see that most of the people that are listening to the to the podcast coming from the US, but also those in Africa and other parts of the world, we are telling you that it is possible for you to get involved. It's not something of the bygone. Africa is not in the moon. Africa is here with you. We are working with people in different parts of the world, in the Caribbean, in US, in UK, in Canada. This is a small world. The internet make it possible for us to collaborate. So get involved too. Be part of it. This is about you. So that is the point. Thank you so much again, Efeosa.
Efeosa. Yeah, Efeosa.